Okay, so welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about the fib circle tool. Now, the reason we'll be talking about the fib circle tool is because with this tool, we can look at previous price action to predict what will happen in future price action. So, great tool for trading because obviously everyone wants to know what's going to happen in the future. And most people can't predict that without some sort of tools. However, fib circles seem to be pretty solid in checking out when there's going to be a solid price change or action, or so something's going to happen that's going to be, you're going to want to be in the trade at this time. So let's just have a look at the drawing a fib circle from the change in downtrend from 2017's all-time high, and then we're going to put it in 2018's low. And now I'm doing candle closes, I don't do wicks. You can experiment with that, but I don't do it, so I'm going to leave that there. So anyway, so clicking that there, now we can see this circle here. It's pointless at the time because we wouldn't have seen that as it was developing. We wouldn't have known where that top and bottom is, but we can use that now. And you can see, just have a quick look back in the past, that this price would have followed up here, fell into the circle, and then fell out of it. Now, you know, this would have been a peak time to trade, and that would have been a peak time to trade. But we didn't know that at the time. We do have that information now, so now we can use it. So moving forward, let's look at the next fib circle, which is here. So price dropped, bit of consolidation. Now, this was a perfect time to start looking for a trade. All right, if you traded along there, you would have got all of this. And then to the next fib line, you would have exited there. So you would have traded 3 grand to 10 grand. It's pretty good. So at that fib circle there, you would have wanted to be looking at whether you're going to commit long or short, or making sure that you're in or out of a position. And if you'd gone short, lovely, you would have gone short from there. You would have gone through probably a bit of heartache here, but then ultimately you would have ended up at this fib line in another successful trade from 10.5 grand down to 5.5 grand. Crossing here, if you'd longed, you would have longed there and reevaluated here, so you would have longed from 5 to 9, and then again here, if you'd longed, you would have done 9 to 10.5, which doesn't sound great, but obviously there's volatility to play in there. And then most recently as September, if you'd gone long, then you'd be flying high from 10 up to 13.5 now at the current price. Now you're looking at this one over here thinking that, so I've added this one in. This is the 5.618, and this gives me a rough date of the 15th of March, say, or before. Now, this does not necessarily mean that the price is just going to go up here and fall off, and doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to drop all the way down here and then grind and come back up, or go sideways and go either or. It could do either of those things. But March 2021 will be a key date to be looking to trade based on this theory. I'm just going to delete this one for a sec, and we'll move on to the next trend. So taking the 2018 low and running it up to the 2019 high, so there. So we're in similar sort of territory now. So if we look back at, if we look in the past again, crossing here, trade, crossing there, dump. Through the circle we wouldn't have had, and then over the other side, coming out here, dump, and then again dump, and then again dump, and then again kind of dump. So it depends on where you put these candles. I've actually missed it, I've just realized that. Get off. So we put that in the right place. Give us a better, there you go, a bit more accurate. So price came through, bumped into dump, bumped into dump, bumped into dump if you want. I mean, it was a consolidation, but it was still corrected across that fib. Again there, corrected across that fib. Corrected across that fib, however, pumped after. So now we're sort of seeing that soon we're going to see a sort of corrective pattern. So we know that based on what we saw before, we got March over here somewhere, that before we get to that March, which is possibly a pump because it's off the larger trend, that we will see some sort of corrective pattern happening. So let's delete that one again. Or should we say delete that one, and let's do that again. So we're going to take the 2019 high and we're going to put it at the 2020 low, which is here. So you're starting to see what's going on now, aren't you? So looking back in the past, price dumped, price pumped through the circle, which we didn't have at the time, out of there, touched the lower circle there, pumped, consolidated through that one and pumped up to that one, dumped and bounced off that one. Now look where we are. This is the reason why I'm doing this video today. We are at an intersection. So what will happen? This one's a notorious kind of like crosses and then wants to dump. See, cross dump, cross dump. We're at cross and possibly dump. So this is why I wanted to show this today. So the odds are that we will dump over the next 3 days, or because we can't go back, so we can't keep climbing up that way, but we can come through here and do something like that and then come back down it and across. But yeah, so you're starting to see. Now I do want to put these all on screen at the same time, but they become really difficult to see. So let's just do some color changes. So where we're present, so let's just go with a light yellow and just drop the color down a little bit. It's off my screen. There we go. Okay, and then do that last one. Again, change color. For the previous one, let's go with a light blue, and then for the big green one, the big trend, let's go with a green so we can see what's going on. So there we go. So we sort of are able to predict a pattern now. So this is our key one here because this is the main trend. So this is the one that we want to be putting a lot of effort towards looking at next year here. So okay, so let's say we were to do this, and we come up here, and then we dump, and then we consolidate, and then we pump into here, somewhere pump there, maybe just a little one, then a dump as a corrector, and then we take off, but then we hit a corrective, and then we move. So you can kind of see using these are a way to predict the future. And you know, stuff always occurs as a line is hit, so we do need to be careful that the next few days we're not nuked out of position. But in my opinion, it looks corrective unless we pass and just shoot up to the next one. But there is a correction coming at some point within the next quarter. I know that's just winding up from me saying 3 days. I'm now saying 3 months, but it all depends on what happens over the next 3 days. So yeah, and then obviously if you really wanted to, if you wanted to get really into it and have a look at what's going to happen, that's taking the whole uptrend from 2017. Just change the color so I even know which one I'm looking at. So possibly we trend here, or this becomes the super move is around here. 1 year away. 1 year away, and we'll know our fate. So yeah, have a play, add them all you like, mess around, see where you find the confluence and trade it. But yeah, fib circles, enjoy.